Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, free enterprise racers. The year is 2082, and we are in the 37th iteration of the Adamant Cup. My name is Possumbot, and I am joined by Martin Broadcloak for today's broadcast. Good evening, Martin Broadcloak. How are you?
Are I immediately have a question. Are there dumpsters in the future?
They are in the future, and they are delicious.
This is the thing that exists. Hi folks, how y'all doing? While Possum figures out how to time travel back to the current iteration of non-shirtless Golbez Free Enterprise. Hi. Well, welcome to Win or Go Home. Possum, are you back in the present yet?
I am. I thought it was 28. No, no, April
No,
Fools.
no.
It went wrong.
Yeah.
Sometimes you try and it just fails. It's fine. It's good.
Uh,
Uh, yeah. Well, we'll probably get Robocom some more at some point with my internet potatoes, but that's a me problem, not a you problem, folks. We have a fantastic match this evening, a rematch from the group stage of Sorbius versus Y2Sky. I guess we are still in the group stage, but kind of like, bracket light at this point.
yeah.
As Martin, you said, win or go home. Nothing major on the line, though, just a spot in brackets.
I mean, okay, look, when I look at racing, you play to win, you play to not lose, and then you play for your tournament life. And these are three very different iterations of gaming. And I do love the last one because we are probably going to see some very silly things.
Yeah, I think we will definitely see some less conservative play than you would see during, a normal group stage match, for example.
Mm.
Now that being said, I know that at least on Sorbius' side, we have seen him take on, with some success, some very challenging fights at very challenging points and seeds. Uh, Sometimes it's worked and sometimes it hasn't, and that has contributed to his 3-2 record in the group.
Hmm.
Y2Sky has played a lot more straight up, not really taking those big risks. Also ended up at that same 3-2 record, so very evenly matched. And it's going to be interesting to see if we get any of those wild decisions throughout the course of the seed, or if we see the runners play closer to the vest.
Yeah,
But I'm excited, one
yeah,
way or the other.
very much so. Also, I'm distracted by these objectives too. My eye went straight to ice cream. I'll admit, I faded the rest of everything that's written there, and I just see ice cream, and now I'm hungry.
To be fair, you have a history of fading the
I
pan and
do have
Sheila.
this is accurate. This is not an
Yeah,
incorrect statement.
ice cream though. Ice cream's good stuff.
Yeah.
And you know what else is good?
Mm.
A Telestart.
Ah,
I love me a Telestart.
best utility mage in the game, right up until you try casting stone with them, and well, we know how that usually ends up, right, Possum?
Better than with Fusoya. So Tella opens up some really interesting things for our runners with T. Wildashon, especially, where you're able to really pick and choose where you want to go for your loot routing. The
Mm-hmm.
two most popular choices, barring an early magma key or early darkness crystal, are either Eblin Castle or with Tella, Watery Pass is on the table. It's about a minute shorter, going Watery Pass with no trap chest, slightly lower loot percentage,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a minute saved. So I'm
Yeah.
interested to see where our runners go right away. It's always a huge thing that I'm curious to see.
You did miss one though. What about a starting earth crystal?
Well, if
Ah.
it's a starting Earth crystal, I
Ah.
mean, you're probably heading to Troya anyway for the free key item with bedwork. So a starting Earth crystal doesn't change your routing much, other than maybe if the Earth crystal in the treasury is good enough, you
Yeah.
just run with that, and those are your only 18 or 23 chests for the whole game.
Yeah,
Which
exactly.
if you hit like an Avenger in there with a Kane partner, you're done looting.
Yep. Yep.
Speaking of, there's our
Oh,
Kane partner.
Possum, I'm supposed to be the witch here, not you.
Well, and there's a
There's
magma
the magma
key.
key and hourglasses, and oh
Two,
my goodness.
two hourglasses.
Possum.
Wow.
All right, so I know this is a little divisive. I have what I like to do with a party like this. You probably have what you like to do. you can go underground immediately. I do not. I like having that third character first, in case there's a siren underground that I can get people online with. What's your take on it?
I think I like going to check the free key item first, which both of our runners are doing,
Mm-hmm.
debating the public treasury, and then looting Watery Pass, hoping to find a cane weapon, get that character from Hobbs, and then go underground like you said.
Yeah.
Or we can just get a package and maybe have 4 characters.
Oh.
Maybe a Fu, maybe a Cecil.
Yeah.
Looks like Sorbius exiting out is going to say no to the public treasury. Y2Sky staying in Troya. Going to hit the public treasury. Yeah, this is interesting. But
Yeah.
I definitely like checking the package sooner than later for our runners. So we'll see what shows up here.
Now, the one thing about the package, obviously, this is a good thing. I mean, if it's a character you want to keep, fantastic, because you do have the Sand Ruby as an objective to turn in. So, I mean, sitting through this isn't, a bad thing. Sitting through it for a Palom, though?
If we're on brackets, all day.
Oh, yeah. But this ain't, not yet. Not yet. We're not on brackets yet. But hey, here's your Watery Pass play for you.
Yeah, we get Watery Pass from Sorbius, and we get Eblin from Y2Sky. So immediate divergence from our runners. We did see a Gaia Drum and a Mute Knife get picked up from that public treasury for Y2Sky. Those were kind of the 2 highlights there. That Mute Knife especially can do a lot of work early on.
It can. Just don't jump with it with Kane. I hear that just it's a tragedy waiting to happen. I don't know why, but
well, he tries. Ooh, a power shirt from Watery Pass. That's really nice.
That is.
Yeah, that's the big find so far for our runners. And Sorbius says, I'm good. I found that power shirt. I will figure out what else I want to do after this. Oh, looks like we are going to get the back.
The back.
Yeah. That's going to save him about another 15 seconds from a full dive. Picks up a fire armor for his troubles, which is good money, but nothing too exciting beyond that power shirt quite yet.
Yeah.
Oh, except for that moon veil, which is pretty nice. And a glass hat on Y2Sky's side can't be understated as well.
No.
Glass hat's really nice early on.
Yeah, especially if you're going to try to be a little bit greedy and maybe take a shot at a trap chester. I mean, that can keep a character alive. And not to, call this out, but I mean, hey, non-adamant spoonward, you give him a glass hat, he can maybe take a punch, possibly, hopefully.
Yeah, we are short an Edward and a spoon for that, but I like the idea.
Yeah, it's a work in progress, okay? So yeah, I mean, you look at the loot, and I mean, yeah, Power Shirt's fantastic. Moonveil basically makes something free, but not a weapon though. No defense sword, nothing I've seen that's like, hey, I have damage, let me go harm things.
Yeah, the Mute Knife so far is the best thing I think we found, and that's on Y2Sky's side, but no weapon. Well, there's an Ogre Axe and Antlion. Sorbius may be done looting now with an Ogre Axe and a Power Shirt for Kane. That's a huge power spike there.
And I do like the Antlion play. Obviously, we talked about, grabbing the character, get underground, etc., so forth, but the random one-off, hey, you know what? If this is exactly the pan, or a tower key where maybe a Penguinator special comes online. Like, there's key items here that you could find that actually kind of point you underground.
Yeah, I don't know about the key item other than maybe that pan or that tower key that's really super relevant here.
Yeah.
But I think I like it more to just get an extra level on Kane. And just go through up to Hobbs that way and make it a little bit easier to get through whatever is on Hobbs. Rather than just a base level Kane, maybe you can pick up an extra multiplier, pick up an item that can contribute to your damage being dealt. Any number of things that can help with that initial setup. But we do see Y2Sky now also having picked up a crystal ring, which is a very nice piece of gear, and an Artemis bow. Now, no one can use that Artie bow yet, but it's quite nice later on in the run. So we shall see where that ends up for our runners, while Sorbius is going to give us our first key item check, and that is an Adamant Rock. So half of objective number 4, which is forging the Legend Sword with the Adamant.
Mm-hmm. And oh, is it nice that, yes, you have exit. No poison walk yet. Ah, it's so nice. Don't worry, there's going to be more poison walk here shortly.
The song of our people.
You know, Possum, somebody was asking for a 20-minute variation of poison stairs.
I think they were asking for endless stairs, but I made an extra suggestion.
I have questions, Possum.
They sound like good people.
Speaking of good people, Rosa,
Yeah.
also considered very good people.
Well, especially when you have an Artemis bow and charm arrows already. That's kind of good. Not to mention now, there's also something really tricky and cool that Y2Sky can do. If Rosa is in slot 2, where Tella is, Kane and Tella are in slots like 4 and 5 or 3 and 4, you can have the middle slot empty, anchor with that super fast Rosa, and still have her online to use the aim command.
Yes.
So we'll see if we get that from Y2Sky at all. That is one of my favorite little Rosa tech pieces to do. We see Y2Sky going through the more damaging route here, and Sorbius saying, let me use my J items. I don't have time for this demist. No missed phases for Sorbius, and we did get a missed phase for Y2Sky.
I'm a fan of it. I mean, you know, obviously, you know, there's a certain individual might go by the name of Nightdew who, you know, loves the J items, but loves burning them as fast as humanly possible. I'm along those lines. Like they aren't useful beyond a certain point. So throw them if you got them.
Yeah, and as you know, once Tella is online, even should you run into something like jellies, creams, slimes, any of the flan type enemies, which are basically immune to physical, you still have that safety valve, if you will, for those tough fights, and that would be with that Tella who's upgraded from Ordeals, which it looks like Sorbius is going to do now. Also checking your favorite unorthodox looting location, the Chocobo Forest south of Ordeals.
I do love me a Chocobo Forest. Sorry, I got a little distracted there. You were talking about flan and, you know, just nice moist flan. See, now I'm hungry again. Awesome, you're killing me here.
Well, that sounds like a you problem, my friend.
That's definitely a me problem. But hey, we're going up Ordeals. Gee, I wonder why we're doing this.
I have a feeling it has something to do with Tella and potentially a future Cecil. But
take
right
care
now,
of the old
Tella.
man. Yeah,
Yes.
Take care of the old man takes care of you. Yeah,
exactly. Tella's a good character, y'all.
Yeah.
And will only get better in brackets. So our runners are going to have to learn to love him if they don't already.
Also, ignore the fact that we've literally left him poisoned now for the last 5 minutes. We still love him. Really.
Well, he can't go below 1 HP when he's poisoned, so why heal it?
Right? So it does raise an interesting question, though. I mean, yes, you have Tella, fantastic, but that magma key is staring you in the face right now, like, huh?
Yeah, with the hourglasses, I would be inclined to want to take these two characters, Kane and Rosa, and do a siren if at all possible.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
So, oh, hi, Odin.
Well, a Thor Rage?
I mean, one's better than 0.
Lit one probably going to do like 300. That Kane's jumping for 800, which is more than enough. Yeah, so I don't foresee any issues here. Plus, maybe you can just jump over an Odin if it comes to that. But I think Sorbius should be fine here. We don't even have the sword raised. There it is now, but I think he's going to have enough DPS here. While Y2Sky is going through and clearing out Dr. Luge. So Odin down, Dr. Luge down, Y2Sky. Oh, 2 phases, my bad.
There's 2 halves of that fight, Possum.
He'll pick up his Adamant Rock right about now. And Sorbius is greeted with a couple of punchy little buggers on the back attack ordeals, that's just Dark Imp, so they won't be too bad.
No. This is a perfect opportunity to use the rest of those J items if you got them. So, yep, fire them away.
And a little bit of a dance from
He's cheering.
Tella and Kane here. Maybe see another J item come out. Nope, just going to get some aiming and a little bit of curing to make sure Kane gets this XP. Or not, because Kane's going to get bopped.
Wow.
And looks like Y2Sky is going to do the underground play.
There we go. Yeah, amazing. Even with that power shirt on. Yeah, these dimps in this location, they're sneakily powered.
And a stop cast coming out in order to make sure this Kane gets the XP. I definitely like that from Sorbius, because that's an extra 4,000 XP. That's a couple of levels early on, and that's huge for this party. Yeah. They really crave levels.
Yep, very much so. Magma key down the well, cutscene. You have that little that few seconds there, kind of just collect your thoughts and be like, hey, I'm underground. What's my route underground? I don't have a pan. This party can't exactly do Dwarf 1 right now.
Well, you say that.
Well, Y2Sky side, not online tele yet. It could be free. It is possible. Assuming it's not, what's your rotation underground?
I think you're still hitting Dwarf first, because you still want to do the shopping. You have exit. I think you hit Tamra, and then I think you still hit Feymarch and go from there.
Yep.
I think that conventional route is still fine, because you really want to hit these shops anyway. The tier 5 consumables that can show up in shops such as hourglasses, sirens, Bacchus, etc., are incredibly important to the successes of many a party, especially this one. Elixirs being one of the things you don't want to find, at least at this stage. So that is a bit of a bust for Y2Sky, but is going to do a little bit of looting, picking up a silk web, which is not the worst thing. But maybe we'll see a real weapon for sale here. Some Medusa arrows give a line on killing eggs.
Yeah.
Might have been worth a pickup, but
not this time.
Yeah, not really much in Dwarf Castle here.
No. I mean, don't sell yourself short on the elixirs. They have their uses. They're few and far between. They can happen. That's one of those you filter on the back of your head. And just kind of remember where they are in case the situation presents itself. But also, wow. Wow. Hi, did somebody forget to populate the tier 5s?
Yeah, vampire only shop. That is interesting. And a sports physician for the job dwarf this evening. And another vampire, because apparently this is a sealed cave tonight or something here in Tamra.
Sorb's doing Baron in. Oh, okay.
Well,
this could be hi.
If he can get through it, this is huge. That's an edge, and that's an end game character. Ogopogo annoying here would be more annoying in the second spot, so I think you're on average happy to see Ogopogo here. Still gonna be awkward, but we'll be able to get through.
Yeah, gonna tickle a little.
And I do believe this guarantees that at least one of those tier 5 consumables is going to be out of the pool at this point, because we only have Feymarch, the Moon, and Hooker out, and that would be 4.
Yep.
So interesting stuff.
I would say, what are the 4? Coffins, Hourglasses, Sirens, Elixirs, Leviathan. Those the 5?
Sirens.
So, Coffins, Sirens, Hourglasses, Elixirs, Leviathan. Those 5, right?
Did we say Bacchus?
Bacchus, 6. There we go. So one is going to be missing.
Yeah, so I think that's going to be the interesting part, is what is missing and what do our runners have to compensate for, and what will they be able to do. And there's the Darkness Crystal, so that's going to answer some questions fairly soon. While Sorbius is trying to jump his way through a very rude antlion. This is getting a little sketchy. Needs that cane to get back up in a hurry.
Yeah.
But Rosa is tanking pretty well here right now, so he may just opt to go the Rosa route.
Did see our hourglasses for sale there in the March, so we know one of the items. And to answer a question on Mike's side, what's the rule? It's like a 90% chance of a tier 5 and everything except for hook route, which guarantees 2. I
Correct.
believe
So
that's the rule.
you're looking at roughly 90%. I think it's more like 85% with Leviathan being added that
Okay.
you're going to see those other tier 5s in there.
Mm-hmm.
That is a pink tail for Sorbius of note to
Ooh.
rival that darkness crystal for
Ooh.
Y2Sky. No hook though, so that pink tail will not be immediately cashed in, but did pick up that edge for Sorbius, which is pretty nice. Uh,
Ah.
but to finish the thought on those shops, you will see 2 guaranteed in Eblin, as far as that Eblin cave is concerned, but you
Mm-hmm.
will only see 1 in the other shops, if there is one there.
Yeah. That was a fun march that I saw. That was dolls on the left and a certain blarg on the right. So unfortunately, don't exactly have the firepower now to take care of the dolls, but something to keep in your mind for later
It's
on. That
a pretty reasonable Fey March, all things considered.
yeah,
Uh, you're definitely going to be able to get through it. That is not a bad spot for Wyvern, and also means you don't have to worry about Wyvern anywhere else.
yes.
So I don't hate peaking that, especially to just have that knowledge.
Mhm.
And we also see Sorbius now taking a
Mm.
crack at the Black Cat Lamia chest. Martin, I know you are high on the Eblin Castle play, but are you high on it for this party?
Um, I'm not sold on it. I mean, yeah, an Avenger, So obviously adamant armor, big stick, but I mean, where's Cecil? He could be behind the giant. Bahamut? Like, are you gonna take Iridia right now with the party that you have for Bahamut? Like, I mean, I like Eblin more probably for like early experience.
Mhm.
Like if you're locked into a hook route and you need Blink, Berserk, Quake on a kid and things like that, yeah, it makes sense. And you've got a shot at a nice tier, 7, tier 8 item. This party though, eh, I'd be underground. I'd be underground doing things under there first.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that, and I wonder if this is part of the, what you alluded to pre-race was the win or go home type
Yeah.
match, where this is Sorbius saying, I want to find something that is going to give me power overwhelming
Mm.
right now and really leverage that power overwhelming, while Y2Sky is taking the more conservative route, the more, you know, conventional, let me check the underground, let me check the freebies, let me check the darkness crystal character,
Yeah.
doing the things that are not going to lose you a race as opposed to win you a race early on. So we're getting a very contrasting set of styles for our 2 runners right now.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what Y2Sky pulls out of the moon here. Obviously, character, it's a gated character. We know what that translates into. The shop, if Bacchus are up here, life is fantastic. That was a white shirt.
And we got Bahamut and White Shirt so far, and we have an Edge on the moon, so we have duplicate Edge. That is not
Ooh,
something you see very often.
no, I'm
That's
here for it.
Yeah, it really makes it so that there is no punish either way for our runners because they both end up with an edge.
Yeah.
Neither one of them has good equipment, I don't believe, for an edge, though. So,
So,
not an advantage either way, but I wonder if we get a sneaky hairdryer check here with the hourglasses from Y2Sky to try to get a couple levels.
yeah. I mean, like you talk about, I mean, it's a 30,000 experience fight. It's a really good chance at a tier 8. You life glitch them, they're up to 50,000 now, and Rosa sure would appreciate those levels.
Sure would.
So,
50,000 XP, even 30,000 XP is going to get Rose up to
mm,
Blink, Berserk, etc. So could be huge. We have Sorbius, who has found the 3rd trap chest though, and Y2Sky has found Bacchus and Silk Webs.
There they are.
17 Bacchus wines. I like it. It's too shy of 19, but it's still a good number.
It is, and it's a lot short of 50, but you know what? It'll get you through until you come back to the moon. So, I mean, we have to come back to the moon. So, this is fine. So, okay. Sorbius may not go to the moon. We don't know. Y2Sky, in all reality, probably going to go a Baron Inn. 2 edges. It's a lot of money to buy 4 ninja swords.
It is. I apologize.
It's a little more than $250,000.
I was too busy staring at the screen longingly, looking at the Avenger that Sorbius picked up for that power shirt cane. Now that I have gotten off of that transfixation, I can get back to commentating with you.
Okay. That's okay. So this is where things get interesting. I've done these runs. I love power over silly. I'm not against edge cane Tella. And just turn them, you know where Bacchus are? Just turn them loose. Like, there is nothing that's going to stand up to those 3.
I think second edge is a bit redundant, to be completely honest. I think I'd rather have the safety net of Rosa. You're not usually going to be able to even get a third-person Bacchus in the time that it's relevant until you're on the moon. And by then, you probably want a Blink caster of relevance. So I think I would hedge towards Kane, Edge, Rosa, Tella, as opposed to a double edge here. But I can see it either way. I just like the idea of having that Blink caster since we don't have Adamants yet.
Yeah. No, it absolutely makes sense. So, I mean, obviously the pigtail's out there. We all know the hook's going to be on the moon because, of course, the hook is going to be on the moon. But, yeah, I mean, just the amount of damage that now you have access to is just... The good thing about Sorbius, too, that I like on this is... Even though, you know, we kind of question the whole trap chest thing, and yes, you got paid off with an Avenger, but now you have access to funds that if you happen to find those ninja swords in a shop, buying 2 or 3 of them no longer is up. Well, never mind about that hook.
Yeah, hook coming from Fagul changes the calculus on things a little bit.
Yeah.
Y2Sky likely going to be getting an Adamant a little bit quicker now. I will say, as good as that Avenger is for Sorbius, Y2Sky picked up 17 Bacchus wines on the moon. That Avenger is way better when there's no Bacchus wine or limited white magic casters. So, like, it's a really cute piece of gear, but this is probably one of the few situations where it is nowhere near as game-breaking as it would otherwise be. Also, I find it a little interesting for a spot that is going to be as slow as Dwarf Castle 1 here, that we don't have that Avenger Kane with the power shirt just front and center here, going high agility for your characters versus low agility for the boss. Yeah. So it probably won't matter in this particular situation, but that is something to keep in mind, that this is usually the hard part of Dwarf Castle, not the back half.
The threat always exists too, obviously, with Lunars, you know, going into a fight with the Avenger on, and well, we usually know what happens afterwards. That may have come into play, thinking about whether just to slap him in the middle with the Avenger and turn him loose, but I mean, not a problem. Not with an octopus sitting there.
Yeah, I think on average it works out fine. It certainly does run that risk of resetting, and resetting never feels good.
No.
But, you know, if Lunars are even in the second spot, I think Kane just hits them 3 or 4 times, they fall over and the fight ends. So, you know, either way, I don't think it's that bad. I'm just a fan of running around with the 10 extra agility and auto Zerk. Because I just like fights to end fast, and I think that really can help leverage it.
Yeah. So, okay, let's pose you the question. You love your auto Zerk, you love what you affectionately refer to as patently average. You have a choice. double ninja, Rosatella. Skip the Cecil that we're currently seeing on screen. We'll get back to that in a second.
Yeah.
Or Edge Avenger King Rosatella. When you have access to Bacchus, does Kane get tossed for a second Edge, even though you have an Avenger sitting front and center in your inventory?
Because of what you can do long term, yes.
Okay.
I would absolutely consider, if I have the money to afford the ninja swords, a double edge run with Bacchus, because long term it's just way better. But short term, Kane does a lot in the early game.
Yes.
That someone like Edge is going to struggle to do without those good weapons, or even, Cecil without some levels. Now, getting back to what we just saw, that Cecil has now shown up at Dwarf Castle. Sorbius did not hit pay dirt as far as the swords go for Cecil in Eblin, but Cecil is effectively for this a vessel for the Avenger, much like Kane was, where he's going to do pretty much the same thing until the party is really online. Losing the 20k XP is a little bit awkward there for Sorbius, especially because we haven't seen Sirens yet.
Yeah.
If they're available, they're going to be on that hook route, and I don't believe Y2Sky has shown us the Eblin shop or character yet.
I mean, I don't regret taking the Cecil. Like you said, it's a vessel for an Avenger, and the sword's eventually going to present itself, mainly because of Objective 4. But crystals and Excals always seem to find a way into your inventory, even when you don't have a Cecil, so not too concerned about that one. We know on Sorbs' side that as soon as he goes and does Sheila 1, that is an Adamant armor online. Have a pretty good feeling I know where that's going.
Yeah, I mean, we also know on Y2Sky's side, though, we have the same thing, and he has, I think, slightly better equipment at this time, less the Avenger, but I am interested to see, who ends up getting this Adamant armor first, because we have had knowledge of it now collectively for 10 full minutes.
Yeah.
Both runners, oddly enough, once they get that pink tail turned in, are going to feel behind. They're going to feel like their opponent has had an Adamant armor for 10 or 15 minutes before them. Probably. And they're both going to be wrong.
Yeah, I mean, because when you think about it, it's like, okay, pink tail early on, you go underground, you do your Sheila 1, you come back up. But on each runner side, it's like, wait, I've done a whole bunch of other things when I could have just done, like, this isn't good.
Yeah, like with it being Pinktail at Baron Inn and Sheila 1 with a starting Fabul Defense with a starting Magma Key.
Yeah.
A very traditional route through the overworld and traditional underworld play, where you're not getting real frisky with checks, you're just doing everything by the book. You would, on average, probably have an Adamant armor around the 20-minute mark on this seed. Yeah. But I think this is part of the situation and the stakes at hand, that runners are making fades on both sides that we know is going to make for some great racing.
Yeah, well, and here's the thing. You can't, like, Y2Sky side, you can't fault it. I mean, you have Edge, Kane, Rosa, Pella. Yeah. I mean, that's an endgame party.
Yep.
So doing Baron Inn right now, it's not high on the priority list. I mean, yeah, it's a key item, but I mean, if I can find a Baron key somewhere in my travels, it routes in a lot better there. Yeah, I'm probably going to regret it afterwards, but there you go.
And Y2Sky now has, I believe, double Ninja Sword Edge. We know where that Adamant armor is going to go on his side. Even if he picks up a Cecil, I think that Adamant still goes straight onto that Edge. And on Sorbius' side, I think it goes on Cecil with the Avenger.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I still like it early on better on that Edge because of just how dang fast he's going to be.
Very much so. And both of them picking up a Ninja Sword out of Tamra. So they've got some power behind it, but here's Y2Sky doing Baron Inn. So now the question becomes, you know where Ninja Swords are. Does Kane go away?
Well, Y2Sky does have a Gungnir spear
Yeah.
that he looted. He also has the ability to just kind of lean on edge with two Berserk casters.
Hmm.
So I don't know that Kane goes away yet. Maybe you pick up edge later on, but I don't really like spending and committing everything to a second edge before it needs to be done.
Okay.
Um, uh, he has about 60,000 in the coffers right now. He would need to come up with another 120,000 to really make both of those edges tick.
Hmm.
I think that's just too much of an investment, even on group stage right now.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, and it comes down to looting and just finding certain pieces that you can sell. Um, Obviously, with Sorbius doing Eblin, Eblin funds a good chunk of anything that you possibly ever want to shop for. But yeah, Sorbs, wave to that cave as you flew right over it, because you're going to be back there very shortly.
Yep. We do have Cecil coming back road to start. We do not see the second edge being picked up from Y2Sky. Very, very expected, to be completely honest.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like we are going to get a kitted out defense Cecil here, as opposed to an offensive Cecil to start. The Avenger not going to be on right away.
I
So that's interesting.
I'm not against cover Cecil. I mean, yeah, you have an Avenger, but there are fights that, I mean, okay, let's put the dolls in the equation, as weird as this is going to sound, but the dolls, for example, if you can come across a Soma drop in your travels and you dump it on the old man, Cecil covers Tella fires up Swag Rocks, and the dolls go away. He
Yeah,
has his uses as a cover tank.
certainly does. Certainly does. And I mean, for this fight, with it being Water Hag at the Fabul defense, it doesn't quite matter.
No.
And we did see Y2Sky made it through the Baron in very quickly, much faster than Sorbius did, by virtue of having those extra levels and characters. Also, opting to go down the hook route right now and probably peek the shops and the character. Maybe take one last crack at a Fusoya here early on. And probably going to be turning in that Pinktail as soon as he is done here. We do see Coffins and Leviathans, so that means that we are Sirenless, I believe, on this seed. Is that correct?
Yeah. That is every shop. So, I mean, are levels really going to be a problem? The objectives and everything, probably not. But I mean, they're always nice to have. If you need that little extra little burst of, a couple gold dragons or an egg or two just to get people up and running. But you have an edge, go steal them. We used to
Yeah.
do it back in the day.
Yeah, having the edge makes the Siren Seal
Yeah.
something that you can do, not too much of an issue. Can also turn on random encounters on like Lunar Subterranean Floor 4. Oh boy, it's a Sparkle and an Edward. Those are two things that can stay there forever.
How fast can we cast exit? How's our
Yeah.
menuing today about that fast?
Yeah, that's just not going to happen. And I assume from here, Y2Sky is going to go turn in that Pinktail right away. So we may have virtually simultaneous Pinktail turn-ins here. Again, potentially available around the 20-minute mark.
Yeah.
Both of our runners are going to get it around 35 and probably feel like, shoot, this isn't good. I'm like 10, 12, 15 minutes behind, when in fact they are within a couple seconds of each other getting this Pinktail turn-in.
I think that's what makes these races so great is, as a racer, you have an idea of what, your opponent's capable of and the things that, they probably tend to do. So yeah, in their heads, they probably feel like they're behind, and yet we know the talent level of all the runners in the tournament, and this doesn't surprise me that they're actually, even in all aspects. So
Yeah, the big advantage that Y2Sky has is he's been much more thorough checking everything, going through and checking the hook route character, checking the moon character, checking the extra shops in Eblin, whereas Sorbius is up Dwarf Castle. They're about time neutral right now as far as who is where. The Avenger, I guess, is also a potential advantage at this point, but I think that Edge is going to do more work than the Avenger is now with the double ninja and the adamant on.
Mm.
So we'll see who ends up coming out ahead here, but I think both runners are in great positions right now.
Yeah, very much so. And Y2Sky is going to get the good news here shortly. Like, hey, the man is in the seed and waiting for you.
And one potential trap, I suppose, is Y2Sky getting this Cecil may drive him to Eblin,
Yeah.
which we know is largely a bust as far as the trap chests are concerned.
Mhm.
Now, he did go there initially to loot, so he knows which chests are going to have the monsters in them, and it won't be too bad time-wise, but it will be a couple minutes that I don't think, in his case, the Avenger would be worth it, having purchased nearly 20 Bacchus wines.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'll definitely agree with that. Like you said, the value of an Avenger is, early mid game where, Bacchus aren't a thing. Where it's just, hey, equip it and go, or, shift in and battle and go. And, well, speaking of Cecil, and, well, he doesn't have an Avenger. He does have a nifty other attack, though.
Yeah, I'm hoping we see a fourth wave, selfishly,
No, I
but
miss Fourth Wave. I really
right?
did. I miss Mystery Seeds and just sitting there in anticipation, like, is he going to talk or am I going to have to kill him?
This will be 250 to 350 damage at this spot,
Hmm.
somewhere right around there. I think only Edge is going to live here because of the rolls. Yeah, so Sorbius is through. Edge is going to pick up the XP. Maybe a Cure 2 from Rosa saves some folks there. Hard to say. Uh, Unsurprisingly, Y2Sky also yeeting his Dragoon in favor of Cecil, and will be shortly moving on from this Dwarf Castle, probably over to the tower, which we now see a Twin Harp coming from the top of tower.
Interesting. We'll let that one sit for a little while. We'll let marinate, so to speak, and we'll see what that one becomes here soon. I know we both have opinions about the Twin Harp and A, when you should do it, or B, why you shouldn't do it. I'm curious to see what other items the runners turn up before that becomes a question.
I'm curious to see if Sorbius is going to live here.
So
Yeah.
about that wave doing 25% of your healing. It's a
Yeah.
thing.
So that's awkward.
That's
That's the I didn't heal before going into the tower room play.
wow.
And I've wiped 2 CPU, Leviathan, Ogo Pogo,
Uh,
anything that deals
why
percentage based damage.
I've gotten zapped by Wyvern going
Yeah.
in, just not paying attention. Like, oh, I'm fine. Oh, I'm not fine.
So that's one of those situations where slowing down to speed up can help. You
Mm-hmm.
do get the option to peek. When you go into that super cannon room, you can press your enter key or action key, whatever it would be,
Mm-hmm.
and you can clear the text box, you can see the sprite, and you can then make your decision whether you move forward directly or whether you sit there and don't move forward. So in this case, and in many cases, I like just clicking that text box and being able to peek, especially coming off a fight where I only have one character remaining who's
Mm-hmm.
at low health. Uh, and in this case, it would have saved Sorbius a significant amount of time.
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunate, but I mean, it happens to the best of runners. I mean, we're all guilty of certain things, forgetting Baron in, Sheila 1, that.
Grinding Riddia to Medio
That
accidentally on
yeah,
purpose.
I wasn't gonna go there, okay?
It only happened half a dozen times on group plays.
I
Don't worry about it.
look for possums counting is difficult, okay? I get it. I wasn't gonna call you out on it, so you're good. You're good. But speaking of possum, please go follow the runners. Sorbs and Y2Sky are amazing. Possum's fantastic. Delbord, Charlie, both very wonderful individuals. Please go follow all of them. They're great people. I mean, they don't allow us in the booth unless we weren't. Right, Possum? That's accurate, right?
Oh, right, yeah, that's the point where I'm supposed to agree with you and say that you
Oh,
also
okay.
are a great co-commentator who needs to be followed for doing wonderful menagerie runs on tough flag sets and playing other randomizers too, like Final Fantasy 13 or that Elden Ring game, which
Uh,
uh, which has taken over your life
I,
instead of practicing for brackets. What?
I, hey. Also, spoilers. Nobody's supposed to know I'm in brackets. Shh.
Oh,
It's like nobody's supposed to know you're in brackets. Shh.
wait, they're not?
What? No.
Oh,
They could go look. See, this is where we get in a shameless promotion time. This is where you go read the Discord, and there's all sorts of amazing information on there where you can learn about the game and the runners and everything like that. And there's this not a flow chart, but a chart that actually shows all the runners that are currently qualified for brackets. And we're going to add one of these two names to them shortly.
well, probably.
Well, I mean, unless the T word exists, in which case, well, the T word happened and it's not, even though it's April Fool's, it won't be April Fool's. It'll actually be the T word.
Ooh, Leviathan summon from the super cannon room. That is
What
not what our runners want at
the
all.
value. Such value.
We've already sold a Bahamut summon. I don't think we need a Leviathan summon.
Yeah.
We are getting a little bit of spice here from Sorbius.
Hey,
Maybe getting a full-on moon dive. Has an
interesting.
adamant armor, has some Zerkers. It's on the table.
This is
So,
interesting. All right, so you have the moon on the table. That march in all reality is free. You were done with the tower and easily within striking distance of that place. Given the position, what do you do?
well, not to mention, you were also very weakened from those fights with multiple party members already perished.
Yeah.
Edge being the only one alive who I'm almost certain has metallic gear of some sort on.
Oh, you're thinking Twin Harp.
I would be very rapidly moving towards the Twin Harp.
Ooh.
Because on the moon, we only have one objective. And we still need a boatload of key items. We need an Earth Crystal, a Baron Key, half a Forge. We need a Pan, a Sand Ruby. It's incredibly unlikely that our K main checks are going to come up empty at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I would be heavily leaning on any K main check at this point. Unfortunately, that means the Twin Harp is on that list.
Yeah.
But I am very curious to see if we get some divergence here. Y2Sky has been playing the much more conservative line here, doing the checks that you would expect in the right order.
Mm-hmm.
Air quotes, right order. Sorbius has been making some splashier and different plays, a little bit out of the ordinary and a little bit out of order. He is currently, I think, ahead progression-wise, but it's a dangerous game to play to go to the moon early, even with this party. And
So,
now I'm a
two
fan though
questions.
of this chest here.
Yep. Two questions. One, actually, we'll do this one first. Do the hairdryers have an adamant armor possum? Yes or no?
No, because I'm not running the seed.
Okay. Two, you're on the moon, you're doing these checks, you're beginning to find key items. When do you pull the trigger and leave? Are you destined to full clear the moon at this point? I mean, when as you look at the key items that you have available to you and the ones that lead to other items, when do you pull the trigger and just be like, I have enough, I'm going back to Earth?
See, I think in this case you're going bottom up, which means you have to clear the entire bottom. That means the White Spear, the Ribbon Room, the Masamune Altar, and the Crystal Sword Altar. I think you have to do all four. And I think that gets really sketchy if you don't have a big stick for Cecil. You're also running the risk of leaving a forge on the table on the Earth. Also, LOL, Leviathan, again. That is, see, like I said, if it's not me running it, don't check this chest.
Okay. Case in point. Got it.
The whole thing about it is you run the risk of missing out on an Excal if Forge is on Earth. And to me, that's the biggest singular reason to stick on Earth. Now, I would be more than happy to be proven wrong on this and for like the Legend Sword to be here and be at this cave value location. I think Sorbs is making a lot of plays to try to win and to try to get power and generate it. And I wonder if he starts to feel very behind the eight ball and gets himself into trouble. I know that he had exactly that situation. I want to say it was against Cubs Rule, where he got a little too spicy. For example, a Baigen at K value.
Oh, that's spicy.
That's a lot of spice.
Hmm.
A little too hot to handle for
Yeah.
Sorbius there, and I don't blame him.
I was saying, we joke about that adamant armor being amazing. Try adamant armor in the front row with Baigen right there punching you. I promise the number will not be a 1. It will be a number that will tickle.
Yeah, that's okay. Thanks, bye from me, and move on to anything else, basically. And we have Y2Sky. You alluded to this. Going back to that Fan March, which is effectively free, and Y2Sky is making that play. So again, I think we're seeing a battle of conventional play versus unconventional play. So far, again, Sorbs is fractionally ahead, but the key item checks are basically even now. And the big question is going to be, is the value on the moon, or is the value in this Fey March? If it's on the moon, obvious advantage Sorbius. If it's in the Fey March, obvious advantage Y2Sky. If it's both, I'm here for that.
If it's behind Baigen, advantage chat.
Yes, very much so.
We've watched enough of this. We know what the super chain is and where things can lead. So put it all behind Baigen. Let's go.
Yeah, as you said, even with an adamant armor, that Baigen, if you're in the front row, is still going to hit.
Yep.
And speaking of getting hit, the dolls are doing a number on Cecil here. Is Cecil actually dropping to the dolls?
Yep.
Yep, that's a thing that just happened.
Yep. Anybody that hasn't dealt with this Leviathan spot, like, oh, it's just dolls. Oh, this will be fine. It's not fine. It is so not fine.
Ooh, this is very nice for Sorbius, though. Picking up an air quotes free fight here. Gonna be able to get this hourglass off, and should even be able to get a life glitch going here. So this will be very nice. Do we have a mute knife on Sorbius' side, or is that only Y2Sky?
I believe it's just Y2Sky's side.
Okay, so that is going to be huge advantage to Y2Sky when he gets up here for this spot. That mute knife is going to carve these guards, to bits, while he's currently carving the dolls to bits.
I would say the guards will die eventually. Really?
Yeah, it'll just take a hot second.
I was gonna say they'll get there. Well,
yeah.
I'm okay. It's not that it's spoonward, but I'm a fan of the face check dart.
It's a dart in this case.
Well, yeah, because here's the thing: like your very next fight's against Wyvern. Edge throws up a wall. Edge throws a spoon. You're at 20,000 damage on a spot that only has 25,000 HP. Like that goes pretty quickly. So, and if it's not anything, you reset, you get the spoon back.
You know something that's good against those guards that cast size?
What's
the
that?
Zeus gauntlet that Sorbius got from beating them, which prevents mini.
Oh, so like when you beat bosses that like punch you in the next year and you get a moon veil as the prize?
Exactly.
And you're like, wow, I could have used that 3 minutes ago. Thanks, game.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Happens all the time.
But we do see Y2Sky now taking on this Wyvern. One small difference I think I would have looked into here is reviving that Tella.
Just for an extra target.
An extra body. Because we also now only get one veil off, which is a little bit awkward here.
Yep.
The spoon does come out. We need to push 5,000 more damage. Oh, no, excuse me, 7,000 more, because that didn't max. So this is a little bit sketchy now. Yeah, and I think this is just mono-y-mono.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're 8,000 short right now. So, uh-oh.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to have the desired outcome for Y2Sky here.
No.
Needs a bunch of dodge rolls on the next one. There's only going to be 2 hits here.
Yeah.
Between nukes. Oh, we got there.
Wow, look at that. Barely.
Didn't expect that. Very well done.
Is it a reset, though? Or is it a prize?
That is a prize.
That is a prize. Oh, wow.
That is advantage Y2Sky.
Yeah.
Because I don't see Sorbius coming back to that for a long time.
Very.
And that Baron key, not only is it an objective number 2, but it also potentially leads to a Fusoya. If Fusoya is at Baron today. So a lot of potential value coming out of this for Y2Sky. So I would have to say early advantage to Y2Sky.
Yeah. And, it also happens to be not only 1, but 2 checks. So Earth Crystal, Pan, Sand Ruby, any of them could be there. Like, oh no.
And as Chad is pointing out, it's 10 key items, which means when Y2Sky goes to the moon, he's going to be raking in that XP and finding things like, I don't know, Ruby at 42k a lot easier to deal with.
Yeah.
Now, also of note, there was an Ice Claw for sale that both runners passed on.
Yeah. if that's a lesson to anyone, never neglect your elemental anythings until Ruby and the turtle are not on the table. Then after that, okay, you're fine. But Ruby, goes so much better with an ice weapon.
Yeah, now on the plus side, Cecil is 100% guaranteed to live through this.
Yes.
Adamant armor, cannot die to Ruby. Will take 1 damage from the fires, 1 damage from the punches. So, he's going to be through this, no issues. The question here will be, can Edge get enough healing off on Rosa to keep her alive? I do like the Star Veil going up on Edge to try to keep him alive. But I think this Rosa is about to fall over from these next 2 hits, which is a little unfortunate because that's 100k XP Sorbius really would want on that Rosa.
Yeah. And the issue is obviously with 2 people, or Cecil swinging, you don't have time to get a life potion up because the counterfire is going to kill her right back again anyway. So she is, in all intents and purposes, dead for the rest of this seed. So also, Did I saw that? Did you see that?
Yes, we knew that was there because we had already seen Water Hag, I believe. But I do like this reset from Y2Sky putting Edge in the middle.
Saves time.
Saves a lot of time because instead of having to sit there and wait through a bunch of attacks, now he can just queue up a flame right away. It may also have been on a different battle speed, but is now certainly going to be able to get through this a lot quicker, and we'll have no issues from here.
Old Senator Crocodile.
Yeah, up for re-election.
Yeah. God, it's that time of year already. Wow.
That's always that time of year.
Oh, okay. Go vote, folks. I hear Baron in. They have free cookies. Pick up your voting ballot there.
Senator Crocodile was giving out diet food today. But yeah, we see the difference here is that these flames are able to come out from Edge because of the agility boost and just how naturally fast he is, with no resistance and no inputs from the enemy. So very heads up to reset there. Take the initial time loss in favor of the time gain from better execution, and we get a script on Ruby.
Hey,
gotta love
kill. Good time. What's the rule, Possum? Is it 5% or less on the HP to trigger that without killing them?
I believe it is 1,000 HP out of 25,000 remaining that gets kind of extrapolated out to whatever the HP value is. So at 42,000, that'd be what, like 1,700?
Okay, so like 4%.
So, yeah, it's somewhere around there.
Okay.
I believe that's how it works. Usually you still don't see it, but in this case we did, which is cool.
You know what I believe? Really wish I hadn't done that ribbon room.
Yeah,
Amasa.
Yeah, I mean the Arty arrows are cool.
Yeah,
the Hanzo, it's a weapon. Like you have 2 ninja swords. It's not worth all that much.
Yeah.
But it's it's a thing that exists. Y2Sky made very quick work of that gauntlet though after that little reset. And just some orbs on the Baron throne, so nothing of real concern. But this will be leading Y2Sky to objective number 2, which is liberate Baron Castle in very short order.
Mm-hmm.
And my favorite check in the game, what's in the trash can?
What do you think's in the trash can?
Value. There's always value in the trash can.
Oh, okay. I'm looking at the rest of the key items available and wondering what a possum would find delectable and would be willing to chew on. Yeah.
I think we'd chew on a pan and get the leftovers from whatever was cooking in Baron.
There you go. Delicious leftover, yeah, especially if they made chicken in the pan. Oh, man.
I fear that with not having seen chickens and only having seen chocobos, that this could lead to a very disturbing conversation. I'm just going to plant that seed and leave it.
Okay. Something, life finds a way. I don't know what to do. Hello, there's a sword.
All right, well, that's good for Sorbius, kind of, insofar as it means that the fear of an Excalibur being left on the blue planet is alleviated.
Bad news.
Bad news, he still doesn't have a shiny sword for his Cecil.
And it's behind the objective, which we know Y2Sky is going to do.
Right.
So,
But it does mean that everything that Sorbius does on the blue planet will be sped up, because he will be doing all of those checks with an Excalibur, whereas Y2Sky will not be. So he's still going to be relying on that edge, and whatever comes from the Avenger. And if a Holy Sword shows up, now it's kind of just a gamble situation. Do you get luckier than your opponent? There is a pass from Baron, so both runners will have a pass. That is also something they won't have to worry about. And something Artemis arrows. This is a boss that hates Artemis arrows.
I was gonna say, of all the times you regret doing a Ribbon Room, because it's like, well, there's no key items here. Well, that one item, though, boy, is that gonna be handy right about now.
Yeah, Rosa's angry, and Rosa's gonna continue to be angry. Edge is gonna be the white mage in this fight for himself, selfishly casting Image and doing nothing else but maybe chucking a dart. Vessel's going to take 1 damage, Rosa's going to take 1 damage, and both of them are going to deal a lot of damage.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Y2Sky side, what's in the basement?
Plague the Lunars. Plague. Nice and free.
Of course it's Plague. Oh look, you're anchored, you have Bacchus wine. I wonder where this fight's gonna go.
Ooh, that full moon on. Look at that damage from Edge.
I was more looking at the animation and just hating life. God, it takes forever. You think they could have sped that one up a little, maybe?
Yeah, as someone who...
Whee!
As someone who once did a ZZ3 seed with 3 edges, with 6 full moons. Yeah,
that hurts.
Those animations are still going on 18 months later.
I mean, on the bright side, folks, get used to it, because you're going to see a lot of that in brackets. Because without a back row flag,
So I'll ask you a question here.
Yeah.
26 seconds to walk this out. Do you keep that Masa or do you reset?
I reset.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
XP is not worth it. I have a ninja sword. I reset immediately.
Yeah, I'm really not sure what the answer there is.
Yeah. If I had double edge, I might consider it, because I don't know if I would be able to afford all 4 ninja swords. But
well, so let me ask. Is this a play towards a second edge?
No. Well, okay. I could see a point being made for it, just because you have the full moon and 10 key items available to you, but like I have a lot of fun running, 3 Zerkers and a quote-unquote anchor / whatever I need it to be. Like you said, the safe play, you run Cecil, you run Edge, you run Rosa, you run the anchor, and you finish the seed. So.
Yeah, and I think that's what Y2Sky is going to do. The other thing that allows you to do by walking that out is kind of think and plan, what do you want to do Y2Sky has, I believe, done every check on Earth. So he would just be deciding, do I want to do top down? Do I want to do bottom up? What we know from this now, though, is that the Sand Ruby, the Pan, the Legend Sword, the Earth Crystal are all going to be via the Moon or Cave Bahamut. So that Baigen very likely has value at this point, based on the distribution and what is left. Now, Twin Harp does still remain, so that is a good point. No Twin Harp check from Y2Sky. Sorbius, though, picking up an Adamant armor. The first Adamant armor is the best Adamant armor, but a second one doesn't suck.
I mean, you're not going to put it back in the tread like, yeah, another one, leave it here. Like, no, you're going to take it with you.
Yep.
You'll find a use for it. So, he's going to, I mean, with an Adamant armor, well, you just put this on the back row, you'll be all right.
2 Adamant armors.
So,
this is a lot more feasible, especially with the levels. Rosa landing on exactly level 38 also means Cure 4 is on the table. So that's a very important breakpoint, XP-wise, for Sorbius.
And it's not that this is Baigen and all, but I agree with the play because, I mean, at this point, you're full clearing the moon. You never have to come back.
Yeah.
Like, your answer is now on Earth. You're never leaving.
Yeah, the only way you'd come back is if you don't run into the pass. Now, we know that he will run into the pass. So, yeah, this is your one shot and done with the moon.
Yeah.
And we'll just see, like, is Y2Sky going to be able to get through this moon faster by virtue of having cleared a lot of the other checks? Or is it going to take roughly the same amount of time? And with the order he's going in, it seems like it may be roughly the same amount of time.
Interesting, dipped out of the ribbon room there. I mean, you're on 10 key items.
I think it's an objective first thing.
Yeah, just do that first. Unless, maybe, I know this is a stretch, maybe Y2Sky has an idea in mind, like, if this was, I mean, this is a stretch. If it was, like, exactly the Pan, maybe I go, take a peek at it or something. But, yeah, I think with all the chaining items that are still available, you're kind of locked in a full clearing the moon.
Well, if you want
even
to
though
stretch,
we know what's up here, you're full clearing the moon.
What if, and this would be the wild play, you get the Legend Sword from, I believe, this altar. You dip out of the moon.
Yeah.
You forge, and then you go top down. Does having that Excal make up the time?
I was going to ask you that when Sorbs was in Cave Bahamut. If that was exactly the Legend Sword, I absolutely do it. Because the amount of the force multiplier that sword gives you makes up the time that you just spent going and forging and coming back.
Yeah.
So.
And also of note, Y2Sky is going to do this whole moon. Wow,
and
that Baigen has no value.
Literally a Legend Sword.
Wait, so that means the Twin Harp has a Giga Chain, right?
Locks everything
so
the
Twin Harp has the Pan, the Earth Crystal, the Sand Ruby, the Luca Key, the Rat Tail.
Boy. All right, who's going to Twin Harp first?
Nobody tell Harumph, okay? Do not. Actually, no, I rescind that comment. Everyone send the seed to Harumph.
Yes. Matter of fact, clip this exact moment as well and send it to him.
That's pretty wild. That you get a Legend Sword out of the moon.
Wow, we talked about a super chain earlier. Well, we got one.
Neat.
So the good news is, okay, well, this is kind of good, kind of bad. We know the Baron Key is in the March. So at what point does this chain end to where you can pull the trigger on, like, if this chain ends with, like, call it Luca Key into Sand Ruby, you're right there. Is that when you pull the trigger on the March? Or, if this ends in Earth Crystal, where does the March figure into the plans for Sorbius' side at this point?
There's only 2 times. The Fey March either is absolute last location, or it is when you get the Luca Key as part of the chain because you're down there.
Yeah.
But I think you're just so committed because at this point, what can you get from the Luca Key that isn't a chaining key item or an objective? it's literally nothing. It would have to be the pass, in which case you'd probably walk that out anyway.
Right.
So
And
I literally don't see a way that you don't last location the Feymarch in Sorbs' position here.
Yeah.
Which will make for a very interesting race, because I think on that same line, Y2Sky is going to clear everything on this moon, because just finding a Legend Sword would be ludicrous to go through this entire moon plus Cave Bahamut and only find a Legend Sword.
Yeah, I mean, come
you
on.
would never think
Single key item on the moon? Come on, that's just silly.
You would just never think the Twin Harp would have all of it, so you're gonna keep chasing, and you're just going to keep going with that chase. I think both runners are destined for a 27 or 28 out of 28 here. I think this race is going to end up extremely close, and execution is going to play a large part of it. I'm also just seeing if we can just keep talking and not have to do this.
No. Possum.
Yeah, I know.
It's April Fools. It doesn't mean April talk through the music. Okay, don't do that.
Okay, I guess.
Okay.
Enjoy the music, folks.
Hey, Possum.
Hey, Martin.
I have a question.
I have an answer.
Okay, does taking care of the old man involve putting a virus in his face?
Well, look, he was self-virusing, so he was, I don't know, helping his own cause?
Okay, I'm just sure. Why
Maybe
not?
he's got really bad aim.
That actually doesn't surprise me, so that's fair. But that's a pan.
Yep.
Let's go hit a punch mage.
Yeah, there will be a bonk for sure. Pan will be used. And the big question is going to be, if something like the Luca key pops out of the pan, do you chase the Luca key while you're already underground to cut out on flight time because of how many key items are left?
I mean, in Sorbs' mind right now, he's got to be thinking super chain.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't put it past to think that one item is going to be in the march. Like looking at all of these, what would the rotation? The pan obviously gives 2. Earth gives 1. Luca gives 1. Baron gives 2. You look at what you have left. Literally, all of these could chain together, but it's not likely.
Yeah. And I do want to highlight that Y2Sky is getting through this moon a little bit quicker, and things like this coffin that he has available going to make that even a little faster. Not having to worry about attacking and retreating commands and things like that. And that is a party rock on Sorbius' side. That probably drives him away from the Feymarch.
Oh,
He's
But
forging. Makes
he's forging.
sense.
Okay, I'm like, is he thinking about it? Is he gonna?
The forge makes a lot of sense because you want to get that X-Cal.
Yeah,
And I mean,
absolutely.
he spent a lot of time searching for swords and not finding them. So this is a play you got to make while you're here.
Also, no Sorbs. I know it starts with an A, but you can't trick the old man with an apple. It doesn't. I've tried with life potions and cure 3s, and he doesn't want none of it. So
you can't give him an item you find on his shelf either. I've also tried that.
Random Stardust lying around. Here, will you give me a sword for that? No. I know where you got. Put that back.
Yeah. But now we do have 3 objectives complete for both runners. Sorbius having completed that forge, Y2Sky, Kevin completed that barren castle. And let us see where we head next. Looks like Sorbs is going to be doing that Sheila 2 turn-in, and then probably heading over to the Earth Crystal. Y2Sky going to be completing his last Lunar check before moving on to Cave Bahamut. We know this is also a free fight with the 2 guards.
Yep.
And I still think we got ourselves a foot race here, and I have no idea who's going to come out ahead here. I do wonder if that X-Cal being attained a little bit quicker on Sorbs' side is going to pay enough dividends with the Earth fights to catch him up a little bit from what Y2Sky has gained on the Moon. Really interesting.
Did Sorbs buy Bacchus once? Did he purchase a few or no?
I don't believe so. I think he has been running pretty dry on Bacchus wine here.
Okay. Obviously won't come into play with Cecil because that's just X-Cal Avenger switch, but and just anything to speed up a fight a little. I mean, well, there's a dead end to that side of it.
Yeah, so that leaves the Earth Crystal, which we now know has to lead to the Luca key, which has to lead to the Sand Ruby.
Sand Ruby, yeah.
Which means that Sorbius is going to be driven back to the Fey March after that by virtue of having literally nothing else left. On the plus side for him, routing-wise, getting the Sand Ruby from the Luca key will mean that he'll already be underground and that the Fey March will be done at that time.
Yeah.
So at least routing-wise, he doesn't get punished for fading the Fey March for this long.
Bad news. Y2Sky goes Luca right into Sand Ruby, right into Z.
Right.
So, yeah, this is gonna be a thing. I'm loving it. This is exactly what we hope for in races like this.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you all the proverbial someone's gonna win this thing.
I'm not saying the T word. I've had enough newspaper cuts that last me a lifetime.
Someone's probably gonna win this thing. How's that?
There you go. Thanks, John.
If you defeat the final boss faster than your opponent, you get the W. But now we have Y2Sky taking on this Baigen. Y2Sky has considerably more levels. When Sorbius got to this point on the Moon, he was at level 38 because Rosa had just gotten Cure 4.
Yeah.
This is mid-40s for Y2Sky's team. So he is endgame leveled already, whereas Sorbius may need to take a fight, maybe 2 to get there, or may just lean on a lower level fight. He's certainly capable of it, but there's potential for a wipe without too much more XP on Sorbius' side, whereas on Y2Sky, there's almost certainly going to be a much cleaner Zeromus fight.
Very much so. Also, do you think Golbez knows what's coming?
I think Golbez does know what's coming.
Okay.
I think it's going to be a bad day.
Pair of adamant armor wearers just patiently waiting for Shadow to go away, and it happens.
Well, I mean, Cecil's still going to try to attack, and Edge is still going to try to attack, and people are going to try to get demolished, but if you keep hitting the non-Rosa, then no one's getting demolished. I don't think you can't hit the snack.
no.
But I
no.
don't think that Golbez is getting an attack off here. I think
no. He may not have words.
yeah,
This may be done before the words occur.
yeah. Bye-bye,
Yeah,
Golbez.
no.
And simultaneously, bye-bye, Baigen.
Yep. Very clean Baigen fight, though. Very, very straightforward on that one. So, congratulations. Here's your complimentary dart. Go home.
And chat is bringing up a good point that Sorbius is likely to fade the Baron Basement at this point because liberate Baron Castle will be his last objective.
Yeah.
So that is a very astute point brought up by chat. I do wonder, is there a world in which Sorbius, when he goes down to turn that Luca key in, does he stop in the Feymarch first? Thinking maybe there's no way that everything's actually chained behind us.
No. You, we talk about do your objectives first.
Yeah.
Deal with the aftermath.
Well, Sealed Cave is not an objective, though.
Well,
it just chains from one.
You're following the okay. If you do an objective and it has a key item behind it, you're following it because guess what? It was locked behind an objective.
Right.
So you're gonna follow this chain to wherever it takes you. Period. You're not gonna fade it.
So we do have Y2Sky completing the forge now, going to get his Excalibur. I don't believe we get a shop check from Sorbius.
No.
I don't expect we'll get one from Y2Sky either, but maybe.
No.
Maybe we'll see one.
How many adamants do you need to finish the seed possum?
Yeah, Murasame's. Oh.
I love being proven wrong immediately, but the question still stands. How many adamants do you need to finish the seed?
Yes.
Okay, so if you have more than yes, why are you checking the shop?
Curiosity. You gotta know.
Chat's
gotta know.
Look. When you win the race, go check afterwards. Go look at the treasury. Go replay the music to your heart's content, which is really good music. So yeah, continue playing that. Go check the shops. Go find a curse ring in a shop. Make you feel better. I don't know.
Plumeria brings up a good point. What if you need to dart 10 white spears?
Then you have looted obscenely way too much, and we need to have a chat.
Okay, but what if it was all gauntleted Ogopogo, and then you needed 10 white spears? No? Okay. So that is objective number one completed for Sorbius, picking up his Luca key along the way. We know that this Luca key will lead to the Sand Ruby, and then that Wyvern leads to Baron Key. On Y2Sky's side, we are getting the music check, which we know leads to the Pan, and then leads through the rest of that chain. So the clock is ticking for both runners.
Yeah.
They both probably, again, still feel behind because of how much value this silly twin harp chain holds. But here we are.
Yeah. And here we go with the walk. It's 1 minute and 8 seconds of the ball. I mean, we know for a fact that it's not, I'm going to reset out of this, but Sorbs doesn't.
Yeah. This could still be a zonk. It could still be a spoon in his mind. It could be a pass, which I think you would walk out, but I don't know. That would be a tough one in this case.
Well, I mean, you walk in, you warp out, you do the fight. I think it still comes out as a plus on time. It's worth it to do it.
Unless it's like the gauntlet. Have we seen? Yeah, we saw the gauntlet.
Yeah,
it's in Baron.
I know, Possum. I know your attachment of the gauntlet in this location, but that doesn't mean you have to wish it on everybody.
I had it twice in twice in 4 games in the group stage. I didn't like it.
I know. The vamp lady and the bats are,
they scare us, possums.
I can see why. Yeah, see, not even saving here. Yeah.
Ooh. The bonus rope of shame. Love it.
I have an affectionate thing for a rope of shame. What rope is that? Because we need to talk.
Well, I don't think we're allowed to talk, though, because we got some music going on.
Oh, I was going to say, is that the Elden Ring rope? Is that where you try to go down the rope and... Possum.
Yes.
What is it with the twin harp and everybody wanting to put a virus in Tella's face?
Well, okay, look.
Like, seriously? Twice?
So,
Poor
okay,
old man.
maybe Tella thought that's how you get your booster. And he's training his immune system. He's trying to stay healthy and fit, thinking like this'll help him. Maybe build up those antibodies.
That
I,
just took days off my life. Thank you.
I mean, how good was medicine back in whatever time frame that this took place in?
You know what I compare virus to? That's green NyQuil. That's what it is. That stuff is atrocious.
I guess they both lead you to taking a nap, so it's
that's true. So it's canon now, folks. Virus is green NyQuil.
I guess we could get some leeches, as Chad is pointing out, and really.
That could work.
What's the closest enemy to leeches in this one? Would it be like the Nagas that use tongue? I guess leeches don't have tongues, but that's neither here nor there.
No, yeah. All right,
Meanwhile,
Y2Sky going to perform an act of treachery on Yang.
Well, not in Sheila's eyes. She's quite thrilled with the result.
Look, little column A, column B, it's all, look, if you're on the receiving end of the pan or the one so, all right, Sorbs, you're there. Yep, there you go. Here we go.
Yeah. And it makes sense, because at this point, Sorbius doesn't have another check. The turning it of the Sand Ruby, sure, you do that, but there's nothing on the overworld left.
Yeah.
So you do this check. The question is, are you Dolls or Wyvern first?
I was going to say, do you go left or right first? Yeah.
And I think you have to go left if you have an hourglass, because Wyvern can still be a little tricky and a little slow.
I think you go right.
Well,
you have enough DPS that I feel like a wall with Cecil, if he's in 2, and then switch to the Avenger your very next turn, and you're through it. Because the nukes can only do, what, 12 to 1400, even at mat without the adamant armor? So you're through that fight in 3 rounds.
Well, that's Wyvern standard time. So
yeah, it sure is.
There's your party.
Yeah.
So that's going to allow Sorbius to fade the Dolls and the Baron Basement, which I think at this point, Y2Sky now needing to do both the Tower of Zot and the Sealed Cave. That's going to be putting him probably 8 to 10 minutes out from go mode, whereas Sorbius is probably 5 to 6 minutes out. Now, granted, there is a gauntlet, in Baron Inn. If Sorbius remembers that and sets up his party properly, he could pick up some time there. Yeah. But this is a situation where I think the ball is in Sorbius's court now, and this is his race to lose, because he's going to be able to fade a couple checks.
Yep, there's the Avenger switch. This should be 4,000 around, probably, roughly. So yeah, this should be 3 turns. 5. It's a good number.
And to point out for chat, the pass is from Liberating Baron, so it is an unavoidable thing for Sorbius. He will get that pass as part of objective number 2. So both runners will have the pass, which is why I think we are looking at Sorbius being in the driver's seat right now.
Yeah.
Now, again, though, he has fewer levels. His characters, while they do have adamant armors, they could still die to a wombo combo of a Big Bang into a Meteor, or a high roll counter nuke into a Big Bang, that he's not going to have the same levels that Y2Sky has.
Right.
So there is a chance that, if this is less than 2 or 3 minutes apart heading to the final boss, that what lead Sorbius does have evaporates in one fell swoop with one wipe. So this cannot be fouled up to the point of, in one of Sorbius's most famous moments, is Porum punching Zeromus to death. If it gets to that sort of situation, this is bad news bears for Sorbs, but right now he is ahead. Yeah. And welcome on in, Raiders, from RPG Limit Break. We are nearing the tail end of this race here between Sorbius and Y2Sky. Extremely well run by both runners. Please do not spoil your race, as a number of us would like to go back and watch that, as we know that was a three-way tiebreaker for first place in, I want to say, Crystal Ring Group?
Can I say something real quick? I also have a slightly vested interest, because whoever won that race gets to face yours truly in brackets. So I would love to go watch it after we're done here.
Yeah, so no spoilers, y'all.
Yeah.
It looks like Sorbius is swapping his party around a little bit, so getting Edge in slot 2. Now, even though Edge is going to be relative agility 1, he's still not going to get off these flames before some attacks come out from the enemies. And are we still on Wyvern standard time?
That's really slow.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
All right, do you do the Y2Sky? Do you pull the reset, Sorbs? Right, you can't sit through for 5 fights? Are you really?
Oh. Martin, I know you have a button for the situations that you are not allowed to press.
We all understand this is a one-time button, and it will end my comms career. I can't push the button.
But this is an oh dear moment.
Yeah, and Plumeria brings up a valid point. Like, you have this power, and you know the fight that's here. You may have just blown right by the save point.
Yeah. Oh, I
you
personally
have no reason to save. Yeah. So.
Yeah, this is super awkward. This is
time bleed.
That lead that Sorbius had, it is dwindling rapidly.
Yeah.
Y2Sky is going to have a faster Z fight. Y2Sky still has to get through the rest of the towers out, go down the sealed cave, turn into Sand Ruby. But this just got a lot closer because of this Wyvern standard time.
Mm-hmm.
Which is great. High drama is wonderful.
I love it. I'm here for it. Also, boy, did that had a bad day. I just saw quad 9s fly on that poor Dagron.
Yeah, so while we have this this Wyvern standard time fight going on, and the walk down to Luca that we already know leads to the Sand Ruby, which will ultimately complete Y2Sky's 17 out of 17 on this seed. I do want to give one more shout out to our behind the scenes folks. Very well rolled to our restreamer Reckless Charlie this evening. Well tracked for Dubward, being able to push and not eat the buttons. Great job to our runners, putting on a heck of a show for y'all. Sorbius and Y2Sky both doing a great job. And this guy next to me in the booth, this Martin Broadcloak fella, he might still be looking for the tower, but y'all should definitely follow him in his quest for said tower.
It takes a minute. I'll get there eventually.
We'll all get there eventually.
One way or another. Hey. Okay, there's the. Okay, yeah.
The feels bad battle speed.
Yeah, sometimes menuing hurts. Oh, that one stung. Ugh.
So Sorbius still is going to be up, though, but is going to be incredibly nervous, obviously, as this finishes out. Y2Sky is going to have about a minute and, 2 minutes and 20 seconds travel time through the sealed cave down and back, plus however long the boss fight takes. So probably, let's say, 3 minutes total.
Yeah.
Sorbius is looking at getting through this Orbs fight, getting through the Baron cutscene,
which is about a minute.
About a minute, yeah, from now.
So it's a 2-minute variance right now.
Sorbius is ahead, but again,
wow,
a wipe here, and the ball is in Y2Sky's court. Sorbius does not have power overwhelming levels, so anything is possible at this time. I do think it's Sorbius's race to lose at this point, or to win, however you want to look at it, but his fate is in his hands.
Yeah, and it's not that the Z fight is sketched by any means. I mean, you look at this party, the Z fight's probably in all reality going to be very but we've all seen counter nukes decide that not only are you not wearing adamant armor, but it's just going to hit you at full power regardless. I've seen counter nukes go for 2100 with adamant armor on.
Yeah, the issue especially is with like an edge.
Yeah. You pick up one of those during a fight and panic ensues. Like
you can get smashed for easily 2000 with an adamant wearing edge because he just decides he doesn't want to dodge or roll out of anything. And you just get obliterated. And then the Big Bang comes out and you're down to a single character, and it can get messy. The other thing that could get a little sketchy is if Rosa eats a counter nuke on Sorbius' side and does not live, then you end up in an equally sketchy situation. Also, very nicely rolled, Reckless Charlie. There's our Fusoya.
Hi, Mom.
Just hanging out. There is the Chrysalido for Sorbius at 1 hour, 31 minutes, and we'll say 40 seconds.
Sounds good.
And let's see, time-wise, where that puts Y2Sky once he finishes this out. So we'll remember that number of 130-140 and see what the difference is. That'll be a good bellwether for us. Does Sorbius have Bacchus wine is another question. I think you asked that earlier, and I think the answer was no.
I don't know.
Has the Avenger, obviously.
And we know where a good chunk of the DPS is coming from for this Z fight, so also thank you. We've all done that before, right? How many of us, raise your hands, went into a Z fight? Wait, why isn't Cecil getting a turn? Oh, wait a minute. Oh no. He has the Avenger on already.
Yeah. Been there, done that.
Yep.
And then you see those Z flags come out in chat, and then you say, wow, I wish I were asleep right now and not, or wish I were awake and not living this nightmare. However that would work.
I cannot think of a better place to be right now, Possum. Because we are that close right now.
Oh, I thought we were talking about napping and sleep and stuff.
Well,
anyway.
You could have done comms in bed, but that leads to a whole different... Anyways, moving on.
I think that's an Ocho moment there.
Yeah, that really is an Ocho moment. Z flags, what do they mean, Possum?
They mean that we can't hide Zeromus in any other location because Big Bangs in Antlion Cave would be scary, and Big Bangs at the Ogopogo spot would be even scarier. Yes. So yeah, you can't hide your Zeromuses, but it does mean that you can have Zeromus do a little cosplay. So Martin, what do we say about that little cosplay that Zeromus does?
Why do a good percentage of them not have a butt?
Okay, valid question.
Everything should have a butt. How are we supposed to kick butt if there is no butt?
I think it's got way too philosophical, way too fast.
Right?
If it doesn't have a butt, is it still cute?
I mean, like, hummus is sort of cute. I got nothing. I don't... What's the question, Possum?
Whose butt are our runners going to be kicking tonight? And so that is a 2 minute and 40-second lead for Sorbius.
I'll put money on the fact it won't be 240 by the time this is over.
No.
It will be less.
No, because Sorbius also didn't have Relative Agility 1 on his Rosa, which means his Tele didn't act first. Which means that the fight is going to take a lot longer to get going.
Does it have a butt?
Grimsala does, yeah.
Are you sure?
I mean, it looks like there's a lot of butts.
Okay.
10 out of 10 cute, though.
It is a look.
Okay, that's very dangerous.
That's not
That
good.
is like worst case scenario for Sorbius.
Because till it goes down, I hope that's a life 2 fired. Oh boy.
Yeah, this is actually, man, we need some Meteo dodges now because I think this is going to go Big Bang, Meteo. I don't know that we see a black hole.
our DPS? We're right in that 8-9K range. Oh boy.
This is yeah. This is
Yeah, this
yeah.
is really dangerous.
Sorbius's tournament life is going to come down to, can Cecil dodge enough Big Bang rolls on the second one, and can he dodge a meteor or two? I'm
Yeah.
pretty much convinced of this based on the damage.
Oh,
This is where those levels come into play. This is
boy.
terrifying. Absolutely terrifying.
And you can't reset.
No, you
You
can't.
have to play this. You have to sit here and watch this.
You got to let it ride, and this has to be your Jesus take the wheel moment, and you hope you get there. Yeah.
Tournament life on this, I feel ill, Awesome.
Yeah, this is a ragged situation to be a part of. Like, it's super exciting, obviously, but it's equal parts terrifying. Like, we see Y2Sky getting into this fight. Y2Sky is not going to have this problem because of his levels.
No.
So this comes down to sheer dodge rolls on Sorbius' side as to whether he gets this victory or not.
Here it comes.
Here's the second Big Bang. Does Cecil take less than 1600? And the answer is yes. So now we need Meteor dodges. And he has just enough HP. He's not going to die to sap.
No.
There's a dodge. Does he get there? We need 2 more hits.
Okay.
There it is. Sorbius gets it. Wow. I told y'all this man has a penchant for it. He had Porum punching Z to death, and now we get Cecil dodging all of the things.
Do we know if Sorbs is alive after this? Because
he will have needed that full 15 minutes. That's all I'm gonna say.
Probably.
And maybe more. We'll see if we can get him in for an interview.
Yikes.
And that dinging in our ears is Sorbius. So GG to you and GG to Cecil and the power of Adamant armor.
I am still shaking.
I was gonna say, are you alive? How are you feeling over there?
I went to get a drink.
That's a good start. You might need a few.
I mean, having seen Y2Sky play in this, I knew they had to be right behind me because this team was not rude ever. And I knew if I reset when Rosa died, I'd definitely lose. So we had to let it ride. And yeah, Jesus was there. He took the wheel.
Welcome to brackets.
Yeah, it feels good. I had a real rough start at the beginning of this group stage, so it feels good to have sort of figured out how to play these just in time to learn a new flag set.
Well, speaking of this flag set, and speaking of, this seed in particular, stepping away from the drama that was the end, as is your penchant with Z fights and tournaments, this is slightly less dramatic than punching Zeromus to death with a Porum, ever so slightly less dramatic. What was your thoughts as you were kind of going through the early game? You were accumulating power. You pick up like a power shirt, I think, from Watery Pass, and just kind of looking for different characters to press that advantage. What were kind of your early game routing decisions and what predicated them, especially like not going underground right away?
I didn't have anything to do underground. I mean, I could grab the Feymarch freebie and set up Sheila 1, but, just in case the Pan was at Ordeals or Baron Inn or Antlion, I had the power I felt like to do those spots. So I wanted to get them out of the way before I dove underground.
Gotcha. And with the location of the Pinktail and the Hook, this was something we had talked about in the booth a little bit, with the Hook being at Fabul Defense and the Pinktail being at Baron Inn. Y'all actually both were like 3 seconds apart turning in the Pinktail for the Adamant armor. Did you feel, because of the locations at all, that you could have been behind in getting that Adamant armor?
Yeah, that was one of the reasons, like I said, I felt like Y2Sky was probably right behind me, because they had either also just gotten that because they faded Fabul Defense until they did at least Sheila 1, or they had it for a few extra minutes, which was kind of terrifying.
Makes sense. And kind of last question I have routing wise is, you decided to go to the moon fairly early, leaving Feymarch and Twin Harp on the table. Now, obviously, in retrospect, Twin Harp kind of had a whole lot of important things for this seed, but what was kind of your driving decision to head on up to the moon relatively early by comparison?
I wanted to hit the hairdryer chest because I hadn't really found anything especially interesting other than that Avenger in the trap chest I had done. And my plan had been to just PK value, do if it was free and easy, and check Mura, and then probably leave and go chase stuff. But then K value was Baigen, which I was in no shape to do. And then the Mura altar was free, and I was like, well, I got some levels now. Well, let's see what's on the moon. So I went down and did Ribbon Room and found something down there that was relevant. Oh, Artemis arrows ended up being huge for the Paladin fight. But yeah, they just kind of all fell together once I started doing moon checks. I mean, I did the White Spear anyway, which was at the bottom of the moon. So I figured since I was there, I might as well do it.
Yeah, definitely makes sense. And just quickly, GG's to Y2Sky as well, coming in at 138.51, just under 2 minutes behind. So made up about 50 seconds from the quicker Z fight as well. So huge GG's to Y2Sky. And Martin, I've hogged the mic here asking questions of Sorbius. You got anything for Sorbius?
You took all my questions.
I'm sorry.
I'm still on the shock over that finale because wow, I can only imagine being in your shoes on that one. So
I mean, same enough. Had 20 minutes to process it. At this point.
Boy, I mean, you're done with group stage. You're in brackets. You've got a week to get ready. Are you ready for the shift in flag sets?
Yes. I'm very excited actually for the shift in flag sets. Not having surprise Cecils and Crystal Swords and surprise Foos sort of determining races seems good. I'm excited for that, to not have to sweat that sort of thing for entire seeds anymore.
I'm looking forward to seeing it. So yeah, wow. That was something.
So, do we know who?
I can ask one question. I have one.
Mm-hmm.
Battle Speed 6 Gauntlet.
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
I remembered to swap Edge to slot 2 and completely forgot Battle Speed.
That's all. That's all I've got.
Do we know who you are going, or do you know who you are going to be facing in your first round?
I haven't looked. It was undecided last time I looked, so I don't know. Do you know?
Mystery.
Gotcha. Looks like we are being pointed out in chat by Scala Kitty that you are getting to face the man, the myth, the legend, Moonblaze Wolf.
That's exciting. I don't think I've ever played against Moonblaze before, so I'm looking forward to it.
That's going to be pretty hype. Blaze is pretty good. You are pretty good. I'm excited to see that when it fires off.
No, I don't need 3 matches of drama like this. I know.
Yes.
Please,
I think we do.
I'll see what I can do.
Go enjoy your evening, Sorbs. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you, and thanks to all of y'all for putting this on. I love playing this randomizer. I love this community. I love being on Restream and talking about the game. It's probably my second favorite thing to playing the game. Have a great night, y'all, and thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you.
GG's again, Sorbs. Well, we will. We'll see if we can get Y2Sky in here. Oh, and as we're speaking, there's that dinging in the ear. GG's to you, Y2Sky. Super close this evening. Extraordinarily well run. GG's.
Thanks. Yeah, I felt like it was a good run. Got a little scary once I realized I was going to 28 out of 28. Didn't see a dot done in the sealed cave, so I got a little bit more hopeful about the Z fight. But then, right about when I was curing the counter nuke, I saw the heartbreak.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if this makes you feel better or worse. I'm not going to try to read your emotions. They are yours and yours alone. But you did do every check in this, while Sorbius was able to fade the dolls and the barren basement because of y'all's routing differences. So I don't know if that makes you feel better or worse, but you did do 2 extra checks and still finished just under 2 minutes behind.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to wonder about. And then, as we're talking in the race room, there's definitely some things Sorbius said that he lost time on as well. So this is definitely going to be one to review heading into the off season for sure. Because when a run feels that good, and this honestly, this has been where I've seen myself all season. It's like, okay, the run felt clean, but there's still some work to be done to kind of bump up a couple tiers here, because all season in the asyncs, there's a lot of runners. There's a lot of runners finishing well ahead of me on times. So yeah, just some stuff to look at. But and I'll have to give a shout out to everyone that runs the community. Taking a year off was probably about the worst thing I could have done for my performance. During this past year, just the community clubs and the ladder, the field has just been so much better that, yeah, my best runs are just not good enough anymore. So we're gonna have to see what happens in the off season with that.
No, I mean, I think you still ran incredibly well. It's a 28 out of 28 in less than an hour 40. Like, that's still remarkably fast. So I really don't think you should be down on yourself at all. I believe the majority of folks had, I think in bracketology, also picked Sorbius. So I think the prevailing wisdom, regardless of who won the group or lost, was that Sorbius was a very strong player as well. So I think it might be a little bit deceiving that, both of you being at 3 and 2, I think in a lot of groups, both of you also would have made brackets. So I think because of how competitive your group was, you should still walk away with this with pride that, especially after taking a year off, to be running this well is nothing short of fantastic.
Oh, thanks, Possum. I will say this has been the most fun flag set I've ever played. A absolute blast to play, an absolute terror to race, just because everybody has such wide access to power, and just it's so easy to get randoed on this flag set. So it was, and then it's like you mentioned, drawing the group that I did. I was like, wait a minute, I have just as much chance of going 5-0 in this group as I do going 0-5. This is scary. All of these matchups are coin flips.
Yeah, it was a heck of a group and a lot of really, really close matches in your group as a whole to watch. They were just a pleasure, and we've seen you in a number of tournaments do very well. And again, I from an outsider's perspective, again, I'm not going to read your emotions on this, but I think you continue to perform extremely well. And it's always great to see that. And, I hope you hold your head up high and carry this as a success and not a failure.
Oh no, if you just look at standings and tournament results, it looks like regression just because, I got to the brackets in the Valley League. But it just the overall improvement level of the community in general, and just how it feels racing. Yeah, I feel like I'm in a better spot than in Valley League a year ago.
Yeah, absolutely. Martin, any questions for Y2Sky?
I'm just sitting here nodding my head, basically, at everything Possum is saying. I mean, your group and us talking about, we knew your group was, like you said, it's a coin flip across the board. It probably was the hardest group to predict out of all of them, and you ran a technically sound race. I mean, we said it multiple times on the broadcast. Like, you ran obscenely well, and unfortunately the coin just didn't come up your way this time, but that's nothing to be taken against you at all. So I don't want to face you in the next tournament. I have a feeling you're going to come back with a vengeance, so yeah.
We'll be ready for ZZ5.
I was gonna
make no mistake.
You can stand that lower left side of the bracket where I'm not, and yeah, we'll be fantastic. So, but yeah, no, GG. I mean, it was really well played. It was the decision making, everything. Stood where it was going, and it just didn't come up your way this time. But who knows? Next time, different story, and you hit top 8. Who knows?
Yep, got some work to do before then. But in the meantime, brackets are going to be a blast to watch. Both Cubs and Sorbius gave me some incredibly strong races, and both of them are going to be extremely tough outs in brackets.
Very much so. You talked about the off season for you. What are the plans for the off season?
We'll have to see what comes up in the community clubs. We definitely need to pay more attention to the ladder. I think that's where just you can kind of get a perennial amount of competition and practice, and you're not looking at your races in a vacuum. Definitely need to look at some of the technical stuff. I would have been more comfortable in this tournament were I in a position where just my speed could have counteracted some of the rando stuff. I don't know. That's really hard to get to. In fact, just from watching this, there's one, maybe two people that you could probably make that assessment about. This flag set was really hard to just rely on technical execution and speed. You really had to route well. You had to make good decisions. And sometimes you just had to find the Adamant armor.
Doesn't hurt matters. That I will agree with. So, Possum, do you have anything else?
Nope, just GG's once again. Enjoy the rest of your night as best as you can.
Yeah.
Again, you ran a heck of a race, a heck of a tournament, and just a pleasure to get to watch it run.
Thanks, Possum, and thanks to the Restream team and the admins and everybody for putting this on. I had an absolute blast, as I mentioned before.
We're looking forward to seeing you back.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Martin.
Wow.
That was a race.
That was a thing.
It happened.
It did. I'm gonna get newspaper for this. I'm almost sad it wasn't a tie, so we could just run it back again.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, I do believe though that that's going to be it for us tonight. But
tomorrow's another day.
Well, tomorrow's another day, but we will be sending everyone over to Goku Black, who is running a Iridia percent, is actually just getting into the Zeromus fight right now.
Neat.
Which is pretty cool.
Okay.
But before we do that, I do want to make sure everyone knows about the 3 matches we have tomorrow and where to watch them. The first match is Plumeria Knight versus John Burkhead at 2 p.m. Eastern on Free Enterprise, this very channel. The McBain and Zeke Highwind match at 4 Eastern on Free Enterprise 2. And then Rex Banner versus Commander Leonhardt at 6 Eastern on Free Enterprise. Again, this very channel. So 2, 4, and 6 o'clock races nice and spread out for everyone. Should be able to catch them all.
Possum, I'm raising my hand real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
You just announced all those races. You know what I heard? I heard names, and then I heard McBain and Rex Banner, and my mind immediately went to ties.
Yeah, but they're not playing each other.
Oh, that doesn't mean they can't tie, right?
I guess they could.
You know what?
Yeah, sure. I'll let you take the newspaper on this one. Keep going.
Okay. We all like ties. Let's get out of here. Let's call it a night.
Well, and with that, I think we will be on our way. Let's go say hi to our friend Goku Black, who is currently in their Zeromus fight, fighting against, a sprite that y'all shall see very shortly. So again, y'all, no spoilers. This race was fantastic. I'm sure the RPG Limit Break race was fantastic as well. So have a great weekend, everyone, and we will see you for those races tomorrow.
Soon TM. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Eat more ice cream.